What's going on, moviegoers? If you're new to the channel, my name is Christian. Welcome to Zero Productions. We have some massive updates for Scream 7. I did not expect any more updates or news evolving around Scream 7, especially going towards the end of the year, especially after the whole news and the reports of Melissa Barrera being fired by Spyglass Media, and then Jenna Ortega dropping herself out of the project. It is not looking good for Scream 7. And at this point, I'm really thinking to myself, should they just scrap this film as a whole? Honestly, I mean, with the news coming from yesterday that Christopher Landon, the director who was attached to Scream 7 since August of this year, has officially stepped away from the project. You no longer have your leads. You no longer have your director. Where do you go from here? I mean, it was already bad enough losing your two main stars of the franchise, especially after Scream 5 and after Scream 6, and how they are massive hits. And we were just getting familiar. We were just getting to love the core four in the Scream franchise, right? How we loved Dewey, Sydney, and, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on her name. God, Gail, right? We just loved that whole trinity. And Randy, we loved them. And then, to fast forward into Scream 5 and 6, a lot of people were hesitant, even myself, because after Scream 6 or after Scream 5, I didn't really necessarily connect with the characters. But with Scream 7, really elevated it for me with the core four. And I was like, very supportive, and I really got behind these characters. But now that, everybody's dropping out of this project left and right, it's like, where do we go from here? Do we just completely scrap the project, reboot it in 5 years, or sell the rights to a different studio? There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of thoughts that Scream fans are really, debating over, because it's frustrating. This is Wes Craven's legacy. You wanted to go out on such a high note, and they were going in that direction. Ultimately, you guys, the Scream franchise has been really consistent, really consistent. I mean, with Scream 4 being kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, I think it's on the bottom tier of all of the Scream films. But the overall franchise as a whole, you guys, not including the show, has been consistently good. And I really genuinely mean that. You look at the Friday the 13th franchise, boy, oh boy, are there some duds. Jason Goes to Manhattan, Jason X, some duds. Or the Halloween franchise. It's Halloween 3. Sorry, you guys. Sorry. I know you guys have your cultists. I know you guys love that film so much, and I get it. I understand it. It's a guilty pleasure of yours. But, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, it's just the Rob Zombie films. There have been duds in those franchises. I even go to say, the Nightmare on Elm Street. There have been some duds. Ghostface has been the most consistent out of the horror franchise, including Chucky, Hellraiser, you name it. Ghostface is at top with consistency. That's because of the storytelling and the characters. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I know Christopher Landon, he came out and he had some statements to say about, Melissa Barrera being fired, but a lot of fans didn't necessarily, support those statements that he said. And they were like, well, that's all you have to say. But this is his official statement after leaving the project of Scream 7. So I guess now is as good as a time as any to announce I formally exited Scream 7 weeks ago. This will disappoint some and delight others. It was a dream job that turned into a nightmare, and my heart did break for everyone involved. Everyone. But it's time to move on. I had nothing more to add to the conversation other than I hope Wes' legacy thrives and lifts above the den of the divided world. What he and Kevin created is something amazing, and I was honored to have even the briefest moment basking in their glow. It seems like it is a real bummer that he has exited the project. And it's probably in the right direction. There's no way that Scream 7 would have thrived without your leading two actresses. That's facts. It's facts. What other story would you have come up with? No way Neve Campbell comes back, even if Spyglass offers her an extreme amount of bag, a lot of money. I think her legacy, her honor would be questioned if she did return. And honestly, they shot themselves in the foot not giving her the money she deserved to return for Scream 6. And ultimately, guess what? It bit them in the butt. Because now you don't have anybody. You don't. It's Spyglass Media. They need to figure something out quick. And, like I said, Do you just completely scrap it and make an announcement saying that Scream 7 will no longer move forward, is no longer in production, and you end the Scream franchise with Scream 6? I'm happy the way with Scream 6 ended. I can move on. I'll be happy with that. A lot of fans were like speculating, well, what if they bring out legacy characters, more legacy characters? What if Stu didn't die? Things of that nature. Now that just seems like a cash grab. You know what I mean? And I have issues with that. And I feel for the writer, because now, if the writer is still attached to write Scream 7, what kind of story do you come up with? You no longer have your two leads. You no longer have the support of Christopher Landon, who was attached to Fargo since August. Now you got to start from scratch. Now you got to look for a whole new director. And who would want to direct this movie moving forward? I wouldn't. I'd be like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only way you move on is either you reboot the entirety of the franchise, which I think would be a massive, massive mistake. Because Scream 6 and Scream 7 made some money. It made Spyglass some money, right? Scream 5 and Scream 6 made money. Scream 7 was going to be tracking to do just the same or even as more. The franchise is hot right now. And Scream 6 made a lot of money for Spyglass this year, being an R-rated film. So I don't necessarily see them, it's a tricky situation that they're in. And ultimately, they shot themselves in the foot, creating all kinds of bad relationships with their main stars. It started with, Nev Campbell. It started with Nev Campbell, and then it trickled down to them firing, Melissa Barrera. And then, Jenna Ortega is an extremely popular star right now, and she wanted extra money for her role. Why wouldn't you cater to her needs? People will go see Scream 7 just because Jenna Ortega. She's in Beetlejuice 2. She's going to be in Wednesday Season 2. She is extremely popular right now, and she's made your franchise money. Why not invest in the people who are ultimately holding up your franchise? I will never understand that. I dated back to Robert Downey Jr., when he was paid nickels for Iron Man. And then come the sequel, guess what? The bag came. More money and more money and more money. Take care of the people who are really holding the foundation of the Scream franchise. And take care of your fans. Ultimately, take care of the fans, man, because it sucks for us. Now it seems like we will never have a Scream 7 ever coming out. And it's frustrating. But please, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about Christopher Landon, exiting the project of Scream 7. Do you think that the studio should find another director in replace of Christopher Landon? Or do you think that is a total scrap and a wrap on Scream 7? Honest thoughts, you guys. Post your comments down below and let me know. Peace.